how can we demystify the danger of the vaccine from Pfizer? Which of the vaccine is safe for Black women?
I actually think Ashira should answer that, but I'm happy to. Ashira, do you want to answer it, or
We
you
can
want me
both
to do
answer
it?
the question.
So I'll speak to the part specific to Black women. And what was the first part? How can we demystify the danger of the vaccine from Pfizer? I'll speak on the Black woman, and I'll let Ashira speak specifically about Pfizer and their vaccine. So when we start to group people like Black and white and Asian, those categories actually, are social categories, right? We've created them. They're not actual real things from a scientific perspective. I told you that the SARS virus, I told you about the genome, about the SARS-CoV-2, And so we need that genome in order to build a vaccine. If we were to build a vaccine that were particularly only safe in one population and not another population, we would need to know everything about that population's genome, right? Like I said, all of us, we look different. This is a very beautiful Zoom full of lots of hues and beautiful faces, right? And there's only 0.1% of us that's different. I would need to know the 1% that's only shared in Black women. But like I said, since that's a social category, that doesn't really pan out into just this one little place and this one little target that I can go in the lab and create a vaccine to particularly work for one person and not another person, right? When we talk about genetics, the variation is so random throughout the entire genome. We're talking about billions of like little letters that make up the genome. It would be impossible for us to create that sequence in such an organized way, in the way for a vaccine to only work for one person or another, or to be formed as a bioweapon to hurt one group or another group. So when we talk about other questions that we should be asking that are not about being a Black woman, or let me say this right, not about the ethnic part of being a Black woman, but is more around the social political part of being a Black woman, is, are we looking at patient populations that we typically see with Black women as a result of a lot of systemic racism within the medical system, right? Or a lot of things like capitalism that affect things like the type of diet and environments that we live in that also contribute to our health. And we should be asking the question of people who present these same health conditions, who live in these same environments, is the vaccine safe for them? And I will tell you, just like Dr. Hussein said, and I hope I said that right, just like she said, the vaccine trials have tested a lot of these things, right? And so they've tested people who are already sick. They have tested Black women. They have tested, as much. And actually, if you look at the demographics, and let me also say, we don't see representation that is so reflective of the actual population almost ever. It's so the representation in these trials really does mirror what we see in an American US population in terms of diversity for the most part. And so that is really big, right? So that means that this vaccine has been tested in Black women, it's been tested in other women, but I just want to make sure we understand that it's not about what we socialize as being a Black woman that could be the reason why something may or may not work, nor is it possible for someone to design something like that could be targeted for one group of people, because these racial lines we've created, they're not real scientifically.